Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's JPR, and today we are back with some more Pokemon Sun and Moon news. So today, in addition to some new screenshots and information, we also got some Corocoro leaks. Now, the reason I kind of held back on making this video, like I wanted to make this a few hours ago, but I held back on it because, you know, Corocoro has not entirely leaked out yet. You know, there's supposed to be more information than this, but we only have one page so far for some reason. They're not leaking out the rest. So let's just start with what is confirmed, and that is Alolan Grimer. Now, Alolan Grimer is a Poison Dark type, which is freaking amazing when you think about it. Poison Dark is such a good typing. It's only weak to ground, and Grimer and Muck were already kind of defensive as they were, so this is a really, really solid decision for them, you know? The only thing about the design and typing here is that I'm just like, why did it become this way? Like, for all the other Alolan forms, we got, like, some kind of explanation as to why they changed types or why they changed designs. But as for Grimer, we don't really have anything right now. It just looks like some vegan food that sat out for too long and then got all moldy and slimy and ew. So anyway, as for the unconfirmed information, this is the information that we are waiting to get in Corocoro. This came from the same source as the people who leaked the Alolan Grimer, so odds are it's probably real, but again, it's not 100% confirmed yet. And that would be Type Null's evolution, which is called Shiruvade. Of course, that's just the Japanese name, and we're gonna get something different in English. But basically, the way that it works is that it changes types depending on what item it is holding. So a lot like Arceus, actually. And I know that a lot of people were speculating that Type Null would have some kind of relation to Arceus because of the relation between chimeras and gods and things like that. So this really seems to strengthen those theories if this turns out to be true. I mean, I really hope it's true because I think it's gonna be pretty cool. I was a little bit disappointed that Type Null is just a normal type, but learning that it has an evolution that can shift types like Arceus does, that is just a brilliant idea, so I really hope we get to see that very soon. And the other bit of information that is not confirmed yet is Jangmo-o's evolutions. Apparently, both of them are going to be in this issue. Apparently, Jangmo-o evolves into Durango, and then Durango evolves into Jararanga. And apparently, Jararanga is supposed to be the first ever dragon fighting type, which is pretty handy when you think about it, because of course, dragons are weak to ice, and they also are resisted by steel types, so having fighting on there makes a lot of sense. And if they're real, I cannot wait to see what they look like. So moving on to the next bit of news, we have some new screenshots of Pokemon Sun and Moon. Most of them were just showing things that we had already seen before. We do have some slightly different things here though, so let's get into it. Here we see a couple of different battle backgrounds, one inside of a city and one at night in the grassland outside of the city. We also have a look inside of the new boutiques in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and I had to say, these look really nice. They look more like an actual clothing store than the boutiques did in X and Y. You know, in X and Y was kind of weird because like you'd have like 3 hats or like 3 jackets just kind of laid out there, and you're like, I'm not sure this is how a clothing store works. So this looks more like an actual clothing store, and I really like that. We also have our first look inside of the Pokemon Center, and it is just as impressive inside as outside, and as many of us speculated, there is indeed a new cafe area inside of the Pokemon Center. We don't know what kind of purpose it'll serve yet. Maybe there'll be people that you can talk to over there who like register new Pokemon in your Pokedex, kind of like it was in X and Y, where like you would pay to go into those cafes and sit down, and people would, you know, put rare Pokemon like Entei or Raikou or Suicune in your Pokedex. Or maybe it's just for like unique items like lava cookies or lemonade or anything like that. Regardless, it looks pretty neat. And the final bit of news here is a little bit strange, honestly. It is about the 3D capability of Pokemon Sun and Moon. Apparently, 3D is only going to be enabled in this Pokemon Snap side quest thing that we have. It is no longer in the battles. Because if you guys remember back to Gen 6, if you turned on the 3D during battles, then you would more than likely experience some kind of frame rate drop, unless you were battling with like some really simple low polygon Pokemon like, I don't know, Fletchling and Froakie or something like that. I mean, I never really used the 3D in battles all that much because it just wasn't satisfying to see the frame rate go down. And of course the 3D, as most people says, you know, it hurts their eyes, and so it's just not really a fan favorite thing among most of the people who have a 3DS. But still, the fact that it's only going to be in this Pokemon Snap side thing is really kind of concerning. Like, I hope the cutscenes are still in 3D, because I will admit I did like seeing the cutscenes in 3D in both X and Y and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. And as far as I can tell, unlike the battles, I don't think having a 3D on during the cutscenes really lowered the frame rate that much. Like, the only time I can really recall the frame rate going down during a cutscene with the 3D on was probably during the Primal Groudon part of the game. Like, I vaguely remember that the frame rate dropped just a little bit. Like, it wasn't nearly as bad as a battle is. Like, the battles are still worse in terms of frame rate, but the cutscenes actually weren't that bad, so hopefully the cutscenes will still be in 3D, but as of right now, it says it's just going to be this camera feature. But hey, you know what? If they use all their resources on this one thing and they make the camera thing in 3D look really good, then I'm all for it, because I think that if they were able to make the camera thing look super realistic, I would be all for that. Like, that sounds pretty amazing. So anyway, what do you guys think about all this news? I am still waiting on the unconfirmed things about Type Null and Jangmo-o's evolutions. So hopefully we will get that very, very soon, and knowing my luck, it's probably gonna get leaked out as soon as I upload this video, but oh well, I guess that just happens sometimes. But anyway, let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.